Hi there, I'm Brissa Cabe, the Digital Learning Specialist here at LCMS. Welcome to our App Chat for Educators podcast, where we'll explore different apps, instructional strategies, and other digital resources for education. Thanks for tuning in. This week, I'm here with Jessica Jones, one of our Vanguards and awesome teachers here at LCMS. Jessica, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your role here on campus?
So this is my 23rd year of teaching, my 8th year at LCMS. I have a Master's of Education in Instructional Technology, and I just love teaching technology. It really kind of became my thing years ago, but it was we call them an IT person at the district I was in. Of course, it's a DLS, but they are the ones who kind of introduced me to all the technology, and I just really fell in love with it. I am one of two teachers who teaches the 7th grade Principles of Information Technology.
I love it. I can already tell that you're passionate about what you do, and I know that being one of our technology teachers, you're always searching for innovative ways to keep your students engaged and keep your content more engaging and interesting.
Because it's hard to teach Principles of Information Technology to kids. It's hard to get them to want to learn this because I'm not going to lie, it's kind of boring. It's not as fun.
But you found a way to help make it fun and make it interactive.
Yes.
A few weeks ago, you mentioned that you discovered a new digital tool to help you do this, and honestly, it sounded pretty cool. Can you tell us about what this was?
So I call it Genially. I don't know if that's really how you pronounce it.
We'll roll with it.
But, Genially, I don't know. But it makes interactive presentations, animated infographics, multimedia, e-learning materials, and other beautiful content for free. So I found it because I get lots of emails from various popular technology gurus, and a few months ago there was an email from Matt at Ditch That Textbook who sent out an email about a couple of webinars, and one was over Genially. And so I hadn't ever heard of this program, and but I looked it up. It looked interesting. I watched the webinar that night, and I thought the program was so cool. It was so interactive. It was a lot more than just your regular Google Slides or Keynote slides.
Which I think is so key for keeping our students in tune with the content that we really want to give them. That way, they're so used to the presentations that we just give them and direct teach and all of that.
Right.
But after you had introduced me to this, I kind of went around and played with it, and you're right, it seems so cool.
Yeah, it is.
So how do you plan to use, or how have you already used Genially in your classroom?
So let me log in, and hopefully and I can bring up the example I used in class.
Awesome.
So I have several different examples. So one, we had the computer basics lesson, and so it's almost like something you might find on the web, except you create it to what you want it to look like. And so you can preview everything before you actually make it. They'll call it public if you have the free version, but of course I think there's a setting in there where you can make it to where it's not easy to find or something like that. So, but it just starts off, and as you notice, it moves. I even took out some of the links that they had on here for some other interactive elements because I just didn't want it too interactive.
Yeah.
And so here I can click on watch, and it's going to bring up a video, so it connects to the outside world, not just what's in there. Let's see. You can definitely do some of the same things that are found on Google Slides, but I needed some extra space for this, and so I can just click on info, and it does a pop-up. You can add a picture to it. It just allows for you to make it simple, but then also be able to add some extra pop-ups so that you can get all the information that you need on there. Of course, another watch. So this was one of their presentations that I had created. I accidentally clicked off. There was, I also added some gamification in here. So they had some questions that they had to go and answer after each one.
Fabulous. Who doesn't love gamified learning, right?
Right. And so, let's see. When you preview it, you get the start. It does make music or sound if you get it right. So if you get it right, it'll...
Oh, no.
Yeah, if you don't get it right, it's going to do that. I wasn't even paying attention to what I was clicking. Software. So if you get it right and it hits the dart, then you get this. Now, of course, our sound is turned off for the purpose of this podcast, so it's not feedback. But so you've got gamification, and then let's see. So I had 3 quizzes, or just in between review type things. Nothing that I was gonna really take a grade on, but it just gave them some extra practice on some of the things, the content that was already in the presentation. So,
and I just want to stop and clarify, all of these were, and correct me if I'm wrong, all of these were pre-made templates that you just added to and created and embedded what you needed for your kids.
Yes.
That's a huge game changer, I think.
Yes.
Because that sounds like it's going to save a lot of time.
Yes.
And they definitely, the graphics are awesome on that.
Yeah. And they even have some throwbacks, like this one, I kind of picked this one for a throwback to the 80s because,
nice.
Who didn't, kind of love this? So, and some of the kids actually liked it too. We're not going to worry about the sound, but yeah, so they get this, and then if they get it right, try again. And it does mix up your choices, so you're not always having to worry about that part. So, so if you get it right, then you get a heart. So they kind of loved some of these throwbacks, and yeah, so it's pretty cool.
So how do you think that, we've kind of looked at the features and how teachers can use this, but how do you think this tool can impact the learning process for your students?
So the kids can actually access Genially and have their own creations. And so let me just kind of show you, when you go into, let's see, I'm trying to remember how to get to, create, Create. You can teach the class, you can gamify the classroom, you can give students practice, you can plan your classes. But what you really have are all of these options down here at the bottom. You just have your basic presentations, but then you can have your infographic. And with the infographics, you can have the kids make their own timeline in social studies, and it makes it really interactive because you could even do like I did with the pop-up. If you like this template, you just click it, and so the kids can really create their own. So I gotta preview everything, and so you could do this definitely with social studies.
Oh yeah.
And then you could put your, have pictures included, put a little snapshot about what the picture is. You have, so much. You have graphic organizers. You could use that for almost any subject. Definitely RLA. They have information organizers. Flashcards, they can make their own interactive flashcards. So kids can really get in there and create their own based off of a template, just kind of, with your guidance, kind of the area that you want them to create in, and then let them go choose their own template. But it's something different than just a basic Google slide. And yes, Keynote is more powerful than Google Slides, but this is even more powerful than Keynote.
This adds a different element to it.
Total different element than what you might find in the other two.
And I appreciate that you brought up kids can use this to create too, because that's a huge thing. Not only can teachers create this for learning and assessment, but kids can show their learning by making their own. And all of those templates, once again, I'm just going to say the graphics look awesome.
So
they look
awesome.
So cool.
So awesome. Yeah, and I know that there are other avenues that you could possibly take. We've got Canva, and they allow for, some other templates and that kind of thing. But I don't know that it adds the interactive component as much as Genially does. And so, and of course, we use all different versions of things in our classroom.
Oh, yeah.
And so, but basically Genially, I was thinking before we talked, it's almost like because you have to preview it, because it goes out there on the internet. It's almost like having a website, but without having to pay for a website, without having to create all those links and everything. Mm-hmm. And this is really something you can just keep within your own classroom. Like, you don't have to put it out there for the whole world to see or anything like that. So it's really kind of a neat feature to just kind of keep everything honed in, because I know for me, I don't like putting everything out there on the internet.
Right. Exactly.
I'm just kind of like, it's not that I don't want to share. I just want to keep kids, privacy.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
I'm kind of a private person sometimes, so I just kind of flow that way. But yeah, it's really cool. It's really cool.
Well, this seems like a really awesome and easy to use tool for a teacher of any content, for
Yes.
students in any content area. And so thank you so much for being willing to talk and share this tool today. Is there anything else you want to share before we wrap up our time?
So while Genially allows for you to just take your own content and put it in there, and a lot of it is easy, there is always a learning curve, and just, give yourself, don't wait till the last minute to do it, but if you have a unit coming up that you want to try this on, give yourself a little bit of time to try it out. Start with something small, like maybe one of the easy games, review games or something like that. Before you totally jump into the presentation. I did discover a few things, but once you really start working with Genially, it really is very doable. That's what I always used to tell my math kids when I taught math. Everything is doable, but some things are just easier for other people than it is for some, but everything is doable. And so once you get the hang of it, it's really good. I promise it's not too crazy. It's not too overachieving for some, because I know some people are afraid of technology.
Yeah.
But it is a learning curve. And so you just, don't wait till the last minute to, try a presentation. If you want to wait till the last minute, try one of the quizzes or something like that. So.
All right. I love that. Saying that it's doable, like it absolutely is.
Yes.
Just something that you have to take the time to explore and figure out what you and your students can get out of it.
Yes.
So thank you again for joining in for this awesome conversation today. I loved getting to learn about Genially and how you and others can make your classroom more engaging and interactive for your kids.
Thank you so much for coming.
Listeners, stay tuned in the coming weeks for more app chats with other LCMS educators. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time. If you have a